My name is Jenna, founder of Her AI Agency. And if you're still manually following up on leads, you're losing a lot of opportunities. By the end of this video, you'll have a working automation that you can put into your business right away to ensure that no one falls through the cracks. Let me show you. So this is Brandwave. This is our white label of GoHighLevel GHL. This is what I use in my agency for fulfillment. And then I also offer it on its own if you're looking for a CRM all-in-one marketing solution. I'd love to show it to you. But let's talk about workflow automations because that's something that sounds really scary, but it's actually really easy to build. So today, I'm going to show you one that is based on a new lead coming in and how you can essentially automatically make sure they get the information that they need. They feel that immediate brand touch point. We all know that somebody will pick up the phone and call someone else if you don't answer them. So this, establishes that this way you are immediately getting them the information they want. You're not losing that contact, and they feel like they're being helped, even if you can't manually get back to them yet or let somebody on your team do that. So, the one I'm going to show you today is for an event space. I work with a lot of event venues because there is not a great, has not been a great CRM solution out there for them previously. So I built one, and that's what Brandwave is primarily for. Brandwave for Events is for event venues. In this one, I'm going to show you their information request workflow and exactly how I built it and how it works. So in GHL or in Brandwave. I'm using these simultaneously because you may be using GoHighLevel through a different white label provider, or perhaps you're going direct, or you may be on Brandwave with me. So just know that these are essentially all the same, although there's some nuances and tweaks to any white label that may be a little different. But in terms of what I'm showing you, this should all be consistent. So you would come in here to automations, and then I always like to create a folder for, intake or sold clients, depending on your business type. And then you'll just name it. So this one says info packet delivery, pretty obvious what it is. And then you'll come into the workflow builder. So GHL recently has two builder options. So this is the standard builder, which basically is a top-down format, your triggers up here. If you wanted to use their advanced builder, this one looks like this. So this goes from left to right, and this follows a bit of a more like node sequence. So if you're doing a lot of work with some of these like AI agents and things like that, you might be more used to seeing this setup. I honestly prefer the standard builder myself, but you can use either one, whichever one you're more comfortable with. So up here is your trigger. So this particular trigger is set for form submitted, and that goes to a specific form. That's their request information form. And that form is on their website. If somebody hits their website and says, yeah, I want more information on this venue, they fill out this form. And then this form, the submission of it, is what triggers this workflow. So, and you could, add a different type of trigger here. It doesn't have to be a form. It could be something, we have a huge list of triggers. It could be somebody sent you a Facebook message. It could be they signed up for something, paid an invoice, tons of options. But for today's purposes, we're going to talk about submitting a form. Submit form, that fires off this initial sequence. In this one, and this is a pretty simple one, and I'm showing you a simple one because they can get overwhelming, and I don't want that to be the case here. But in this one, they get an email. So in here, we've got, this will show from this event space. The subject line is, hey, venue information and schedule a tour. And then this is the email. And you can design this either inside of this builder or in the marketing side of things, and then just attach the right email. I prefer to do it that way. And then there's also the sync edits to template button. I want to talk about that because if you do build a template and then you turn this on, if you come in here and make a change, it's going to write that back to your template. That used to not happen. It does now if you click this button. You might want that, you might not. You might want to individually customize this email just in this workflow, in which case you would not want to turn that on. But just a little side note on that. I always turn on click tracking. You might want to add a tag like new lead, totally up to you. And then this is your test emails if you want to make sure it looks good. But this is the first step. So immediately when they hit that form, fill out that form, they get this email. We have an attachment in this case. It sends them the PDF of their sales information right along with them. And then inside the email, there's a button to schedule the tour. You might want to put a button inside of your email to give them that information. It just depends on what your ultimate goal is. And that's something, that depends on your workflows and your processes. But this one's pretty simple. So they get that initial email. So that way, that client has the information they need right away. They know the pricing, they know how the venue works. They're not waiting for someone to call them back and picking up the phone to call the next venue, right? They're getting that right away. Right after that is a wait step. So I've got a 1-day wait step in here. This could be anything you want. This could be by hours, minutes, days. This goes out right away. So as soon as that form gets filled out, this goes out instantly. And I always say less than 5 minutes for like the first point of contact is really important. So then it goes into that wait step. So in here, you might want to also send a text. So you could put an SMS in here. Maybe you want to do an internal notification to someone on your team so that they will pick up the phone and call as soon as they can. Lots of choices. Again, for simplicity today, I'm keeping it really simple. But typically in most workflows, we see that email go out and often a text message if they're using text message marketing, which you should be. Great conversion rates. Okay, so then where it branches here is, again, I mentioned that this was for them to schedule a tour of this venue. That was my primary call to action button. So what this does, this branch is a logic branch that if the tour is booked, and they have gone, into the calendar, which is where that button links to book that tour, then if the tour booked is yes, and they are in that calendar for booking, then they get added to a totally different workflow. So this is a nurture sequence workflow, and that's more like, let me tell you more about the venue. Here's some testimonials. Here's some pictures, true nurture sequence because they've booked that tour. So we're not going to keep bothering them about booking the tour. Over here is if they don't book that tour in that 1-day wait period that I'd set up here, they get this email, which is a second follow-up email, which like, let's plan your event. We'd love to answer your questions. Same thing. In that email, they're again directed to schedule a tour. And this one ends here. We're not really following up with them super automated in this particular instance, but you could add this as many times as you want. If you want to email them once a day, once a week, whatever feels right for your business, you can put that in there. And then there's a none filter, which if none of that happens, then we might do something else. That might be, they like don't even open the email. Then maybe we send another text instead because it looks like they're not opening emails, but they might be opening our text. So that is how you build a very basic workflow. And this seems very basic, and it is, but what's happening here is the important fact is that this client is saying, hey, I want information, and they're getting it right away. That's a great first brand impression. It keeps them from going somewhere else, and it keeps you focused on whatever it is that you're doing without feeling like you have to drop what you're doing right that second to go send that email or send that text. You can focus on your operations and know that this part is handled. Some other things I like to see in workflows like this. We create a pipeline for each client in our system, and that might be, it's customized based on their processes. But in this case, what I would typically want to do is like add them to a pipeline. So what I might do is create or update opportunity. So this might say in pipeline, this active inquiries, full booking pipeline. That's what we typically call them for event venues. And then pipeline stage, right? This is new inquiry. And then the opportunity name, you could fill this in. I like to use these custom values. So I would use the full name right here. So the opportunity is going to be the full name. Opportunity source, you could dynamically include that. You could use like the attribution source. So like if they came from, let's say, a Google campaign, a Facebook click. You could put that in there so you could track where your leads are coming from. I think that's very valuable information to know. And then you could put the opportunity value in there. So, like, if in this particular one, the form asks them, are you planning a wedding? Are you planning a corporate event? So, there's values associated with those types of events. So, I might put that in there so I can see, what kind of value I've got in my pipeline. You don't have to, but just an option. And then, you hit save and they go straight to that pipeline. So, I'm not going to put this into theirs, but that's something, that I typically put here too. You might want to add tags that it is a wedding, that it is maybe a summer wedding, if that's, relevant to your business, or they were a referral from someone. You might want that kind of information in there. So very simple workflow, but this can save you a ton of lost revenue by just ensuring that you are getting people some information right away when they come to your website or DM you. That's another trigger that can be used up here in this add new trigger. That could be a Facebook DM or a TikTok message or an Instagram DM, LinkedIn message. Lots of options for those triggers. This one's just based off of a form. So if you need something built like this for your business, I would love to help you with that. Again, we operate BrandWave, which is a white label of GHL, and I believe it to be the best system out there. So I would be happy to show it to you if you're not already using a CRM and automations platform, and we can absolutely help you build, these types of workflows so that you can focus on actually running your business. So have a great day.